Hi everyone, we're at that time of year now on the farm where we've got our silage, which we harvested earlier on. You would have remembered it in the summer with the 6130R and the 155R. And this will be the second bale, which we opened this year. I'm going to show it to you on camera what it looks like. We were a bit worried because last year we had some rats in this stack, and we lost about 50 bales. So this year we managed to get some of those bait boxes, and we've put them down the sides, so hopefully the rats won't get in these bales. But we'll just see what they're like. The first one I opened the other day wasn't mouldy, it was pretty good. But we do need to test the silage, so if there's a company out there, or if anybody knows where we can send the silage away to be tested, we'd love to find out about that, because we need to know like how good our silage is, what the quality is like. We have never done that before. So this is silage harvested from the Broads. We've got about 215 of these bales this year. So I didn't use anything particularly special when I cut the bales open. This is just a Swiss Army knife, but it's a single blade one. And I like these because you can pick them up for about £10 online. I just buy them online. And we've never really broken them. They're pretty strong. They're a little lock knife. And we keep them in the machines for cutting silage, and also any string or anything. They're brilliant for that. And if you've got a long piece of rope, and for example, if it gets caught around a piece of machinery or an animal, like a halter, you need, I find, a longer blade to cut a long piece of rope. You know, so in those emergency situations, we find these really handy on the farm, and they're slim. We can put them in, store them nicely in the boxes in the machines, and they work really, really well. So here we are. This is the second bale this year. Smells pretty good. Yeah, it doesn't smell too bad. I would have thought, you know, they couldn't quite be ready now. Can't really translate smell off camera, but there's a lovely sweet smell to this. Sort of sweet, musky smell, which is just what you want with the silage. We let this silage go to head quite a bit this year, and so it won't have the energy which our ryegrass would normally have, which we grow at the farm here sometimes, our first cut, but it will have a slower releasing energy, and it's good for things like store cattle and horses, we find. It's not rocket fuel, and that's quite important. We don't really want rocket fuel, not for storing cattle over winter, and especially with cows and calf, you don't want to fatten the cows up too much. We don't want to have massive calves coming out the back ends and be struggling to get them out, if you know what I mean, with the calving jack. We just want a slow, steady feed with them. Well, I just take the silage wrap off, and then I throw it on the pile, and then we get rid of that in the recycling place. This is a cherry twin spike, I'm sure everybody knows. They use it every single day, and it's absolutely fab. So now we've got our feed hopper in there. Our next job is to put the legs on, and then we also want, with this yard, we're going to scrape all this rubble out in the next few weeks and concrete all this part of the yard, which will be lovely for winter. Alright, so we had a comment yesterday about British farming and what we're producing here. So here we're producing British lamb, British beef, as I said, and we don't have British equipment. We do try and buy as much British equipment as we can. This was the only small telehandler we could find with a 3-ton lift, 6 metre reach, which would fit in our sheds. The JCB, they make a smaller 525. I did try that. I tried it on a farm next door, and I just found that it wasn't really man enough for some of the tasks we have, like outside in the muck fields, loading up the muck spreader. I just don't feel as though a 525, you could do it, but it doesn't really have, you know, if you look at the wheels in the 630, you've got some decent sized Michelins on there. It's a bit more of a stable machine compared to the 525 we found. So in the case of not buying a British product, the JCB, going to Manitou, we did find that the Manitous were just slightly better made, and a bit more versatile. Like, we can get this little loader around all of our sheds, and it's got a ridiculously good lift for its size. It's so small when you see it in person, even though it looks quite big. It's like a miniature telehandler, compact telehandler. And the only other one we did briefly have a look at was Merlot. We looked at the Merlot P32, but we didn't go for the Merlot in the end because we'd tried this and we just really got on well with it. And we have got some connections over in France. I do know a lot of the people at Manitou. I know they're a great company. and they're only across the pond, so it's like we're helping out neighbours. But ideally we would love, of course, a British product, but it just wasn't, in the case of something compact with high horsepower, high lift, we just didn't really find there was anything else on the market which could fit this, what we needed. So despite the telehandler and the tractor, obviously the John Deere, not British. Logic weed wiper, British. Ife Williams flatbed trailer, British. The Massey 65, British. Those rollers I picked up the other day, British. Cherry products, British. British products, made in Norfolk and also in Oxfordshire. Fodder beat bucket, these are made in Norfolk and we'll be using this very soon. Made in Trunch, KW Farm Services. If anyone's interested in these, they are built like a tank, fodder beat buckets. The Tanko bale wrapper, not built in Britain, but built in Ireland. So we do buy some Irish equipment as well. Cherry man cage, British. A triple axle sheep deck trailer, British. Feed silo, made in Lancashire, British. My everyday vehicle, British. One of the last good things to come out of Britain, huh? X-Form, cherry products, made in Norfolk. British product. Moving British barley, even if it is with a French telehandler. I know, it's a bit of a joke, but I like the Manitou, as we know. So. And over the road where we store the rest of the machinery, this is going to be quite fun. So you've got the AS Marston trailer, British, although the AS trailers aren't around anymore, is a British product. It gets quite exciting because we've got parts from all over the world. These are my rollers, which I bought in a deal of, funnily enough, from a poultry farmer on eBay a few years ago. They do the job every year, but they're Swedish. And then next to that, we've got the Marshall feed trailer, which is Scottish. Shout out to all my viewers, everyone from Scotland, brilliant product. Next to that, this is quite funny. We've got Johnson Brothers trailer, twin axle, Irish. This is made in Fintona, Southern Ireland. The Mascier flail mower, Italian, built in Italy. Podringer Synchro 3030, Austrian, built and made in Austria. We've got more British cherry products, who we support. We've got a bucket there from Sutton, who also make buckets in the UK, in Norfolk. And then we've got an X-Form / cherry products partnership muck grab, which has been absolutely fantastic. Probably one of the best muck grabs we've ever had. Cherry products is just down the road from Clarkson's farm in, I don't know if you can see it on there, I always like this, in Chipping Norton, which is where Cherry Products is based. So just down the road, 4 miles from Clarkson's farm, which I always like. For the most part, we are supporting Europe, European manufacturers, or from the people from Britain, and for the UK, Ireland as well, and Scotland as well. Telehandler's made in France, the John Deere's made in Germany. Everything, to be fair, is made in Europe. But in this increasingly globalised world, it's becoming really difficult to buy more and more products from the UK. Tractors, telehandlers, things like that. Everything nowadays is on a global scale. So it's if you buy a piece of machinery, say even Manitou from France, let's say, the Manitou has a German engine, German hydraulics, then it could have some parts made from all over the world inside it, the sensors and things like that. It's like, do we really make, besides the Cherry Products attachments, do we really make anything in the UK anymore? Is it fully made here, because of all the different patented parts which come across from all over the world nowadays? John Deere, German. Made in Germany, the smaller 6Rs, larger tractors made in America and Waterloo. So these are these rollers I picked up the other day, W. Wilder and Sons Limited, and they are built like a tank. I bought these for £100 each, £200 for the pair off the farmer the other day, and we now put them on the 65. Not the best machine to go backwards in. I don't think I can reverse. Oh no, they're not really easy to reverse. Gotta move the nanny out of the way. I had a big problem with the diesel tank. I had to order a new one of these hoses. This is now peeing out diesel everywhere, sorry. So I've put a new one of these on order, so I can't fill the tractors up at the moment, it's a bit annoying. See, because the weather's been so mild, and we have had some rain, but when it stopped raining, people are still going around the arena to exercise their horses, and every 6 weeks a horse trainer comes along, a specialist show jump trainer, and we have to get in there and change all of the course. It has to be changed every 6 weeks. suppose you could put your lunch in there as well back in the day. Everything's got a bit of a tinge to it. Not a bad part of the year. It's one of my favourite parts, autumn, actually. So one of the things we have to do with this tractor is take the two cambridge rollers now to roll these gallets for the horses, and we have to get the wheels and the rollers through the gateways. So I hope we'll be narrow enough to get through here. Coming out. There we go. Just about. There we go. And we're rolling at the same time. That's lovely. So having the two rollers, you get a little bit extra compaction on your way around. There's my bird cover crop. Still hasn't really started to come up a little bit, but it's looking pretty poor this year. We've got a hell of a lot of nettles, big problem with them this year. We're going to get out there with a positive and cultivate all of those up. That is just an absolute disgrace, really. Big time. One of the reasons we want to get a hedge cutter as well is where this embankment's been built all the way around the half-mile gallops. It's going to have to be cut every year, at least 2 or 3 times a year, and I don't quite fancy cutting it all with a strimmer. It'll take you probably a week. So there's the fodder meat. They're looking massive at the moment. My word. Hopefully we'll have a good whack of them to feed the animals. We'll put them through the KW Farm Services bucket, which you saw in the shed. Right, and in this field here, this is our cover crop field of turnips. If you remember, I rolled this in, and Jeffrey from next door drilled it, and I rolled it in. We put a little bit of liquid nitrogen on with Frontier, who's the chemical company, and they've got sprayers and all of that good stuff. They come over and do it. They've got all the tickets. And to be fair, we have got at least a crop this year of turnips. If we didn't put the fertiliser on, we wouldn't have any. You can see we've got plenty of foliage. The sheep are going to love this when they come home, and our red poll cattle as well. Just looking down here, there's a bit of a bulb now to the turnip. That's only going to get bigger as time goes on, and there'll be a good bit of bulb there for them to eat over December time, probably December, January time they'll be on here. They absolutely love this, and it really helps the farm because it helps the rotation. It also prevents soil erosion because the turnips go down, the roots go down, and we've got a little bit of a root structure there which will bind the soil together, which will stop runoff hopefully on this farm, which is what it suffers from. It's light and sandy. We've also got a little bit of organic matter from the stems of the barley, but because we took a lot of the straw off, there's not really too much organic matter, hence why we drill the fields with cover crops. We've been growing turnips for about 20-25 years before farmers were paid to look after the soil. So we used to do it and we didn't get paid for it, but now we do get paid a little bit of money. It's hardly anything, but it does all help at the end of the day. But for us, our main priority is the sheep and the cattle, to give them some food over winter. I can see a lot of farmers in Norfolk starting to grow more and more cover crops to protect the soil more than anything, because soil fertility, soil runoff is a big problem. And in 50 years, they're saying that we could deplete our soils from nutrients, and also it's the biome, and also the structure of soil. So we could hopefully, in this farm, be saving our soil for the next 50 years, for the next generation. So it's still another lovely day on the farm. It's mild, it's overcast. I have got my jumper on, but I could probably get away with my t-shirt. We've still got some good weather coming the rest of this week, which is going to be brilliant to finish off the sugar beet and the fodder beet. 65's now got a new job. We've got the feed bin going up later on this week. And we've also got a British tractor returning to the farm very soon. Keep watching and subscribing. Give it a thumbs up if you haven't already. Support the channel. Check out the back British Farming mugs and t-shirts for our British lamb and beef. And I'll catch you on the next one.